366. Michael Jordan was one of the greatest leaders and greatest ever to play the sport of basketball, and he lost 366 games in his NBA career. 366. In fact, 11 of those losses were in the NBA Finals, which is honestly one of the most heartbreaking parts of the season. To some, that number might sound relatively high for someone with as much success as Michael Jordan, but these losses ended up playing a role in his Chicago Bulls team's success. With that being said, it is really important to note the influence and effect that losing and failure has on individuals and teams within sports. Within the sports world, teams are bound to lose. While the thought of going a whole season undefeated sounds great, the probability isn't very high, especially when you consider the level of competition that a team is playing. Michael Jordan's first few years on the Chicago Bulls were in fact losing seasons. Jordan came in as a college phenom from UNC and was the number 3 pick in the draft. Jordan knew his talent and wanted to come in and turn the franchise around, but work like this cannot be done overnight. Between his rookie debut in 1984 up until 1988, he brought a team who was consistently losing and had minimal team pride from the fans in the city and turned it into a team to be reckoned with within the NBA. Now, let's take a closer look at the Chicago Bulls team dynamic and what it looked like during Michael Jordan's first 4 years with the team. During the 1984, 85, 86, and 87 seasons, the team finished with a losing record. As many would guess, a losing season most definitely can affect fan attendance. Research done by Wolverton and Richards suggests that a number of factors contribute to a loss in fan attendance. These factors can be a lackluster performance on the court and a lack of positive word of mouth about the team from fans and the city. As explained in Michael Jordan's docuseries, The Last Dance, the Chicago Cubs were the city's team at the time. Because of the Bulls' recurring losing seasons and lack of spark, they were unable to grab the attention of the fans and the rest of the city, and this is why the Cubs were actually the city's team at the time. However, all it took was for Jordan to come into the franchise, take these losses, use them as motivation, and light a spark within the team and the city to become the Chicago Bulls team that they were destined to be. A reporter at the time during this rebirth even quoted that since he arrived at the stadium that used to be 2/3 empty, it has been sold out every single game. Another factor of losing and failure is the desire of image repair. The culture within sports plainly states that winning is good and losing is bad. However, I think that people often forget how a team or individual's image after multiple or even just one loss, how it can be affected. Scholar Benoit has taken this ideal of image repair and summed it up into 5 different repair strategies that individuals attempt. Strategy number 1 is denial, and it says denial has 2 options. A simple denial claim that the act in question either did not occur or the accused did not do it, and this overall just shifts the blame to focus on someone else who is responsible for the act. Strategy number 2 is evading responsibility. Strategy number 3 is reducing offensiveness, which admits the culpability but tries to downgrade the perceived offensiveness of the act. Strategy number 4 is corrective action, which communicates the plan or plans to repair the situation and or prevent recurrence. And strategy number 5 is mortification, involves a message of regret, for example, an apology. By looking at our Chicago Bulls example, we can clearly see what strategy Michael Jordan decided to utilize. Number 4, corrective action. Jordan made a point to consistently communicate with his teammates, self, Bulls fans, and the rest of the NBA that the team's losing was not acceptable and that they were working to become better. Scholar Enterline also analyzed losing within professional sports and how individuals responded. Enterline combined Benoit's typology along with the concept of coach talk to analyze post-game interviews after a loss. He found that coaches use deference, justification, redefinition, and implication of the entire team for the losses. Jordan and his Bulls team went through 3 head coaches during the losing years. The coaches would utilize all these methods during post-game interviews. However, it is important to note the difference in approach of head coach Doug Collins and Phil Jackson. Collins' coaching approach was geared towards Jordan. Plays were drawn up for him, and the goal was to always get Michael the ball. Jackson, on the other hand, made it a point for the team to know that you cannot win with one person. Because of that, Jackson had plays that got everyone involved and was one of the main reasons why the team was able to go on the championship streak that they had. You could see their coaching styles reflected in their post-game interviews as well, and which of Enterline's responses that they used. Both coaches continued to talk about the necessary and ongoing redefinition of the team after their losses, as well as implication on the whole team for the reason of the losses. Both of these coaches were so successful because they strayed away from the responses of deference and justification. Losing pushed the coaches to hold themselves and the teams accountable, as well as made them continue to work hard to redefine the whole franchise. Going back to Michael Jordan and his leadership, it is important to see how the team dynamic changed from when he first got to the Bulls, as he began to change the program and throughout their national championships. Jordan was a very vocal leader. As he mentioned in The Last Dance, when he got to Chicago, his goal was to challenge their leader. He knew he was one of the best players on the court, and by challenging the very leadership on the team, he knew that it would result in a fire within the group. Once Jordan started getting respect and recognition from his peers, he began to become an even more vocal leader. Jordan is known for his bluntness and extreme will to win. He wasn't afraid of calling people out or stepping on toes. And coming into a losing franchise without any type of accountability or communication was one of the biggest reasons why the Bulls continue to lose. Jordan acknowledged this and started to shift towards a more vocal team. Colin D. McLaren and Kevin S. Spink conducted research on soccer teams and how their communication affected their probability of winning. Their research showed that the soccer team that won the game had members who exchanged information with a larger proportion of their teammates than the team that lost the same game. At the team level, the winning team also engaged more. Similar to the Bulls, when teams become more vocal and effectively communicate with one another, they end up being more successful and win. Michael Jordan is a world-renowned icon who has rightfully gone down in the history books. Being put on a team with a losing record and no way out in sight, Jordan took the negative of that situation and it influenced him to push the team and himself to be better. Whether it be acknowledging Wolverton and Richards' theory on how winning increases fan engagement, which then positively impacts overall team identity, choosing the ideal Benoit strategy when attempt to switch from a losing to winning team, or understanding McLaren and Spink's findings that increased communication can cause a team to win. Michael Jordan was influenced by the early losing of the Bulls and made changes so that not only would he be one of the greatest players in the sport, but be part of one of the most successful teams in the NBA's history.